Welcome back, everyone. Rosemary the Hiving here, and today I'm going to switch up the topic a little bit, and I'm just going to be ranting, and there's also going to be some not so happy themes when I talk about this, but it's just temporary things. But if you don't want to have a slightly upset day, you don't have to watch it. Anyways, let's get to talking about why I decided to become an artist and to pursue YouTube. And, of course, make stories as well. When I first started drawing, of course, I was not good at it because who wouldn't, start out really bad at it? Anyways, I looked up to my uncle who was a professional artist and still is to this day. And so, of course, I wanted to be just like him and draw a lot just like him. But of course, I still needed a lot of practice. But what is one thing that you think to do when you're little when you can't draw? Of course, copy other people's art. You go online or look at a book, you put your paper on there and trace it. That's what I did when I was little. Not a good thing, but I did. And I learned something about it that from my mom. I showed it to her. She's like, "Oh, that's really good. Wait, I saw that in a book before." I'm like, fine, you're right, I traced it. But I did it all myself, I drew it. And she's like, "No, you didn't draw it. You didn't draw it, you copied it." So, then I started to learn about copyright and about how you can't copy other people's stuff because you didn't do it, someone else did. Honestly, after my first few things that I tried to draw, I gave up because what do you do when you are young and you're like, "Oh, I'm never going to make it because I'm already bad at it now, and no matter how many times I practice, I don't get better." So I stopped for a long time until a certain time 3 years ago when I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm really into Wings of Fire, and I've seen a lot of people draw them. Why don't I try that?" So I would look at someone's picture, and I would be like, that line goes there, and that line goes there. Let me try, without tracing it, try to do the same thing. And I would do that over and over, multiple dragons per day, and practice my skill over and over. Going to high school in my second year actually definitely helped me with my art skills, since I would make it my mission to draw one dragon per day, at least one dragon per day. So I would keep drawing them over and over daily, so it would improve as I went on. And then I noticed whenever I draw, it helped me focus in class. So I asked my teachers and they let me, except for one, which we'll get into that in a different video. But the fact was they let me draw during class, so I would practice even more. And I was known as that one Wings of Fire nerd, making some Wings of Fire nerd friends, all that stuff. I decided to start my channel that same year and just was so obsessed with Wings of Fire, and still am now, to where I was like, hey, I want to draw dragons for people on YouTube. I want to make characters to post on YouTube. Have a fun time. I didn't even care about money. Slightly about fame, but not as much anymore, because all I want is just to hang out with people. But the main focus of the channel was to make characters that could help me vent, because I didn't have any outlets. Because what are you supposed to do? Just start lashing out at your parents, hitting things? No. So I was like, hey, why don't I put all my anger into characters? So that's what I did. I started making characters. Characters like Canopy and Sleet, just those characters who have a hard time, usually are just me being like, hey, I've been dealing with this one thing. I want to let people know. Be like, hey, other people deal with it. People deal with these problems, and so do I. I relate to you if you relate to this. I want to give something to people to relate to, including myself. I am so grateful for what I've gotten out of 3 years. I've gotten so good at art. I've made new YouTube friends like Rowan and Rhea and Speed Dragon and Julie Raptor Dragon. Like, I could not ask for any more good friends. There's definitely more I'm missing, but these are just the friends who come off the top of my head. But I've just found my community in places that I haven't been able to find since I'm neurodivergent and people tend to avoid me because I'm not normal. So, I adore this fandom. I adore the people who subscribed and who join my live streams and who watch my shows and read my comics, because you guys make me feel wanted and like a real human being instead of people in the real world. This is my escapism. This is my favorite thing in the world. This is what I want to do every day of my life, and I want to get a job like this someday of art. You guys don't understand how much you guys mean to me and how much this channel means to me. All of these characters, all of these people that I've met, all of the experiences I've been through, all give me a purpose and meaning, and I'm grateful. These 3 years have given me an art style, some friends, a home, just everything I could ever want. I cannot express enough how much this whole just book series could make me feel. So just amazed by how creative people are, how supportive, and you know what I love most about this fandom? I get to ramble on about all kinds of things that I love about the book. I love to just talk, and these people will just sit and listen. Probably not all the time, but that's okay, because not everyone's going to want to talk constantly, but I appreciate the people who definitely want to. Honestly, I'm glad I got the talent from my uncle. We love to share all kinds of stories about all the art we've done and try to teach each other things and just relate on a level that I normally don't get to with other people who, aren't artists or haven't drawn or talk about AI and how it's not helping, making the world worse. Speaking of AI, I am glad I have learned to work for myself and to not try to do things the easy way. And I'm just grateful for that, because I feel like if I didn't learn that, I probably would have thought that tracing was okay, or using AI to quote-unquote make art would be okay. To be honest, I feel like AI can be used for a couple of things, but if you try to use it for art, it's a waste of water, and it's not worth it. Now that I'm done rambling, I'm going to start to get to the more sad parts. If you don't want to have your day upset, you don't have to watch this part. If you want to, you can, or you can mute it while you look at the speed paint. Art has always been a safe space for me. Whenever I was upset, I would make things. I would distract myself with loud music and draw. I didn't know what I was going to draw. I'd just try to draw something. And with things haunting me from my past that were very upsetting and not good for a little kid, I started remembering things that angered me, and I couldn't keep it in. I had to let it out somewhere. But the ways that I would let it out were not safe because of certain stims that were physically dangerous. So I would make characters to beat up on, characters based off of people in real life that have hurt me. And so I wouldn't hurt anybody, but I would still get some anger and feelings out. The point is that I found an outlet. I was able to draw and listen to music so I could get anger out without harming anybody, including myself. Still, it would remind me of old things that happened in the past, or stories that I wasn't there at the time or couldn't remember because I was too little. Some of these things that I write are based off of true things that I have seen before and experienced. So when people come up to me, which this has happened in videos, being like, yeah, this is too woke. It's actually not. It happens all the time. And I just want to spread light onto these things so that people understand these things do happen. They mess people up. And if you refuse to talk about it, it never gets better. My goal with making these stories is not to only give myself an outlet, but to give someone something to relate to help people know that they're not the only one experiencing these things, like parents having arguments, which isn't as bad when you say it like that, but if you know what I'm talking about, or leaving places because you're just weird and you can't fix it, or that you were just born a certain way that you cannot help, or that you were compared to somebody. Those are all examples, but I want people to understand that they're not the only ones going through those things, and that I am as well, and that a lot of other people are too, and that there's always support, and I would support anyone who's going through those things. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble the whole time. If you want another one of these, please let me know. I would love to do another one of these another time. Thank you guys for all of your support. I appreciate you.